Zahid Valencia has been a man on a mission since moving to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and this past World Championships, he showed that he might be the new face of USA Wrestling. But how did we get here? How did Zahid go from a 106-pounder from St. John Bosco to giving up 0 points at the 2025 World Championships? Let's go back to the beginning and see the rise of Zahid Valencia. Zahid would attend one of the best high schools for wrestling in the state of California, St. John Bosco. Joined by his brother, they were known as one of the best wrestling duos in the state and also the country. With their dad as one of the coaches, this school would also be home to wrestling stars such as Aaron Pico, Cleveland Belton at the University of Oklahoma, and if you know ball, Kate Leves. Zahid would start his wrestling career, as previously mentioned, at 106 pounds, where he would win his first state title. This is impressive within itself because California is a one-division state. In his junior year, Zahid would now make the jump up to 132 pounds, but his biggest jump will come during his senior year. He would end his career at a staggering 182 pounds. Starting his high school career at 106, then jumping 70 pounds proved to be a great advantage for Zahid Valencia. This advantage came because he was still wrestling like he was a lightweight. Hitting his knees on level changes, switching speeds just proved to be too much for guys at 182 pounds. Zahid would finish his high school career as one of the best in California history. He would win 4 Ironman titles, a Super 32 belt, and 3 California state titles, taking 3rd place his sophomore year on a broken foot. Even with all these accomplishments that Zahid had at the time, I still feel like he was getting overshadowed by Anthony Valencia, his brother, just slightly, as he would have legendary battles with Mark Hall at Who's Number 1 and Freak Show, battling for the #1 pound for pound. Zahid and his brother would then be off to Arizona State, as they were a part of the #1 recruiting class in the 2014 year. Like most freshmen during this era, before we got the Marcus Blaze, the Luke Lillardolphs, and the Spencer Lee winning championships as a true freshman, Zahid would take a red shirt. And during this red shirt year, he would only have 2 losses, with one coming by tech fall versus David Taylor. This is the first match that him and David Taylor would ever have, to my knowledge, but this would also help form the relationship that also helped Zahid Valencia become the new face of USA Wrestling. But don't worry, in the 2016-2017 season, Zahid Valencia would make his presence felt on the NCAA landscape. He would become one of the most dominant freshmen, winning a Midlands Championship title, a Kif Clean Las Vegas Invitational title, and a Pac-12 championship. He would roll into NCAA's undefeated at 31-0. Zahid Valencia would roll into the NCAA championships with his confidence at an all-time high. And everything was going right, and then it wasn't. The first 2 rounds for the NCAA tournament was just like routine clockwork for Zahid Valencia. In the first 2 rounds of the tournament, Zahid Valencia would pick up 2 easy wins. Then in the semifinals, he would be up against Mark Hall, who was a longtime rival of his brother. And this match would be razor close, with Mark Hall getting the win, as Zahid Valencia would pull his headgear as he was going for a lefty single. This would give Mark Hall the razor close win.
Getting another point for a violation on the headgear. That turned the whole match around. Hall comes back, takes down Zahid Valencia, and now Mark Hall is
After placing 3rd at the 2017 NCAA tournament, Zahid Valencia would pick up right where he left off, and that's by beating Mark Hall at the All-Star Classic.
Arizona State sophomore Zahid Valencia, NCAA All-American.
I think this was probably Zahid's most dominant year. He was beating top guys in his weight class, guys like Taylor Lujan, Bo Jordan, just proving to be levels above the field. He would once again roll into the NCAA tournament undefeated, but this time he would beat Mark Hall in the finals, going wire to wire, 32 wins and 0 losses. However, the Zahid era wasn't all sunshines and rainbows. The following year, he would take another loss to Mark Hall at the Penn State duel versus Arizona State. This was his first loss since losing to Mark Hall at the 2017 tournament. Then he would take a shocking loss to Daniel Lewis of Missouri by getting pinned, which is crazy because this is the worst loss that he took since getting tech fall by David Taylor his redshirt year. But don't worry, Zahid Valencia would avenge both of these losses in back-to-back matches at the NCAA tournament. He would go on to win his 2nd national title against Mark Hall, and he would break the guitar in the process. Coming into his final year at Arizona State, Zahid Valencia was on top of the college wrestling scene. He was a back-to-back national champion at 174 pounds, and coming into the year, he was regarded as one of the top pound-for-pound wrestlers in the country. He was now making the move up to 184 pounds, where Zahid would also make his presence felt on the freestyle scene. In 2018, Zahid would actually make it to Final X at 79 kilograms, but he would lose to Cal Dick in 2 straight matches. I think after this loss, Zahid kind of realized that getting more freestyle matches would be beneficial for his career in the long run, so he would enter a ranking series. Oh man, were we getting prime Zahid Valencia at this ranking series tournament. He would go absolutely nuts, getting first place at the tournament and beating 3-time NCAA champion Alex Derringer in the finals, who just beat him in the 2019 World Team Trials. If you're Zeke Jones and company at Arizona State during this time period, you have to be feeling good about Zahid coming into March. At this time period, Zahid was ranked number 1 in the country, 20-0, and had an 85% bonus rate, and just won senior nationals at 86 kilograms. And I think he was number 1 on the Hodge. But then all hell would fucking break loose, as Zahid would fail a drug test after winning the ranking series that he just wrestled his best at. After this failed drug test, this would leave Zeke Jones no other choice but to suspend Zahid for the remainder of the year. I feel like this kind of gets lost in wrestling history because COVID would shut down the world in a couple of weeks and the tournament wouldn't happen anyways, but man, I can't help feel robbed that we didn't get to see Zahid finish out a legendary college career. On the flip side, I think a lot of good did come from this, because when you're so good at something and it gets taken away from you in a blink of an eye, you gain so much more perspective for this said thing. After being suspended and COVID shutting down the world, Flow Wrestling would do one of the coolest things I've seen ever in my life, and that's hold like little UFC fight cards. And Zahid would actually be featured on one, but the problem was he was going against the GOAT, Jordan Bros. And this match would be hyped up with the two going back and forth on Twitter, going at each other, going at each other's heads. You just love to see it. And this match lived up to all of the hype. In the first 30 seconds, they would be getting right to the shits, shot after shot after. With about 1 minute and 55 seconds left in the first period, the first points would be put on the board. And of course it was Jordan Bros, right? Wrong. Zahid Valencia would hit my GOAT with one of the nastiest duck cutters I think I've ever seen. A couple short seconds later, another score would happen. And surely Jordan Bros wouldn't go down 4-0 to a college guy, right? Wrong. Zahid Valencia would blast through Jordan Bros, ended up on a single leg, and then limp arming out to get the 4-0 advantage. This is how it would end the first period of the match. And then during the break, I would assume Jordan Bros adjusted his sock, and then he would run down Zahid Valencia. But I bring up this match for a really good reason, and I think that is that Jordan Bros knew that Zahid Valencia would become the face of USA Wrestling one day, and Jordan Bros had to get him while he was young, if that makes any sense. And throughout the match, everyone saw the flashes. We always knew that Zahid could wrestle at a high level. It was just, could he do it for 2 minutes? And oh boy, were we in for a surprise next. At the 2024 World Team Trials, Zahid would take his last loss to this date. And it's so ironic because it came against David Taylor, the same man who teched him at the Mid-East Championship all those many years ago. But I think this loss also kind of woke up Zahid Valencia. He knew that he had to make a change. At this point in time, Arizona State wasn't what it used to be. Chris Middleton already headed out for Oregon State, so I think he lost his main training partner with that and one of his good coaches. I feel like Zahid Valencia kind of knew that he plateaued at Arizona State. In 2022, he did get a bronze medal at the World Championships at 92 kilograms, but that wasn't an Olympic weight, and he wasn't going to make the Olympics getting bronze at the World Championships. So he made a change. On October 2nd, 2024, Zahid Valencia announced that he would be joining the Cowboy RTC and joining David Taylor and company. And I'm not gonna lie, whenever I first saw this, the first thing I thought was he's gonna do exactly what his brother's doing, and he's gonna join his stablemate RBY and go wrestle for Team Mexico. But that wasn't the case at all. And if he did do this, I wouldn't be mad at him. The USA Wrestling's at a point in time right now that we're just so deep and we're so good at so many weights that some of the best wrestlers in the world had to go represent their family's country. Guys like Stefan Miocic, Sebastian Rivera, Miles Amin, Malik Amin, all the Amins. But this move to Stillwater proved to be so important, not only for Zahid Valencia, not David Taylor, but for the whole United States, man. And since the move, Zahid Valencia has been a man on a mission. He's currently 24-0, beating 3 former world team members in 1 year. Cal Dake 3 times, Chance Marshall 1 time, and he even beat 2025 world champion Trent Hidley. Zahid Valencia will make the world team by beating Cal Dake, multiple-time world champion, multiple-time Olympic medalist, in 2 straight matches, 3 if you count the US Open. And actually, I want to take a second to talk about this. If I'm Cal Dake, I am so sick to my stomach. Not only did you not make the world team, you lost to a guy who was coached by David Taylor, the same David Taylor that you moved from New York to Pennsylvania to help train, the same guy you dreamed with, you had countless conversations with. They have a flow film talking about you guys being best friends. Just recruited and coached a guy to steal a dream that you guys worked on together. But anyways, rant over, back to the Zahid story. At the 2025 World Championships, Zahid would give up 0 points, not even a step out. So in a new landscape where USA Wrestling is looking for the next star, the next face, the next guy who's going to carry the legacy on, I think Zahid Valencia is in a prime position to be this guy, to be this face for the United States. Zahid's biggest competitor throughout the years has been Aaron Brooks, and what Brooks put on the sidelines due to being suspended for up to 3 years, and it looked like Aaron Brooks has moved up to 97 kilograms anyways. I don't know if there's anyone who can stop Zahid Valencia, but one person, and I think I would bet the house on this person. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Zahid Valencia is the new face of USA Wrestling?
Zahid Valencia for the United States, the 12-0 victory.